When should you move your assets from your 401k and manage it yourself into your own personal IRA? That's a huge question. That's why we're here with 𝗿𝗵𝗂𝘀, financial advisor and the founder of Fundamental Wealth Designs. Billy, a lot of folks get comfortable. They leave their money at their employer plan. Yep. When should we start moving it?
That's a good question. The first question we need to answer before we get into when is, can we actually move it? And that's one of the things that we'll work with our clients on, is figuring out, can we actually access the 401k? If you're still working, there might be some restrictions. But the good news is there's a lot of sort of in-service opportunities, even if you are still working, where we can get access to your 401k.
I've been hearing this buzz phrase a little bit. So in-service withdrawal, this is, yes, I guess, moving our money even before we get to retirement. Correct. Does your employer care? Are there restrictions to it? Are there tax implications? How does it work?
Correct. So in-service withdrawals are while you're still working, your plan might provide you to have access to half, maybe all of the funds inside your 401k to move it to what we call a self-directed IRA, so you can take control of your assets.
So we could be possibly working until 65, 66, 67 or beyond.
Yep.
But you're saying that we'd be able to actually move the investments there to give us what? More range?
Exactly.
Inside the 401k, we just have the limitation of the funds that are in there.
Yeah.
But do we want to be doing this on our own?
Yeah, no, this is not something you want to do on your own. You want to consult with an advisor. And really it is because inside a 401k, you have 14 or 15 options. You might have a bunch of different target date funds, right? 2030, 2035, 2040. What really is your strategy? Another thing inside 401ks is the expense ratios. You might think you don't have any fees embedded inside your 401ks, but each and every fund you invest in likely has an expense ratio. And if you aren't aware of what that is, we can help that, and we can help figure it out with our portfolio x-ray.
And I think there's a misunderstanding or misconception that if we're using our employer plan, well, our employer gave it to us for free, right?
Yeah.
That there's no costs inside there. And we find even just the use of funds, there's cost. And that's going to be in any kind of investment platform. But do you find that 401ks are actually free to use?
I find that they're all over the place, and some of them have very low expenses, but some of them have very high expenses, and we're not really going to know until we dive into your particular 401k and figure out, what are your fees and expenses embedded.
And then if there's a cost savings, if there had been at all, does it still apply after you're an employee, after you leave the organization?
It would still apply, but if you're leaving it there, there's much better options to take control of your own 401k and roll it into an IRA. If we're talking about, and we talk a lot about Roth conversions, if we talk about Roth conversions or tax strategies, you can't really do that inside the plan. You have to remove it from the plan, roll it into an IRA. The good news is, though, we don't pay taxes on that rollover, and that is very important. You can roll it over from a 401k to an IRA, and you don't incur any taxes in the rollover. So that's important for our listeners today.
Very lastly, when you've got folks who come in, they're employed, they have a 401k, how many times do they still have old floating 401ks from former employers from years ago that they haven't moved?
Think about it. How many of you have had 2, 3, 4, 5 different companies and have that 401k that you left at a previous employer? If you're leaving it there, it's really doing no good for you, and you don't have control over the asset. Some people even forget about the 401k they had it there. So we uncover that, bring it back up, move it into the IRA, take control of it, and use all that as a part of their complementary plan.
All right, 𝗿𝗵𝗂𝘀, I know you're a busy man because you got to help people with their retirement plans. Folks, if you would like to find out when is the best time for you to move your 401k, you can speak with a financial advisor like 𝗿𝗵𝗂𝘀 right here in Minnesota of Fundamental Wealth Designs. If you'd like to learn more about Billy and the team, you can also go to his website, fundamentalwd for wealthdesigns.com.